Hey YouTube land, just Jax here, back for another update. It is the next to last day of No Shave November, and you might not be able to tell, but I have not shaved all of November and actually half of October. I shaved around the middle of October in preparation for No Shave November to give myself a head start. And you cannot tell by looking at me in person. I did shave this little patch on Monday when I took my pictures for my Instagram post that I just made today. Um, and I shaved this on Monday, and it's whiskery again, but it literally is just one little like triangle patch right here that'll grow. And then I do have a little bit that goes down. There's a couple of random hairs up down to my neck, and there's a couple stragglers here, and there is a good little bit here that maybe you can get a hint of. Um, and then my mustache is still, pretty good. But the fact that this is whiskers after shaving it on Monday is showing me that my growth is speeding up. It's just a matter of getting it to come in. And there's nothing I can really do for that. I'm still doing the charcoal soap and the oil because it is itchier now, even though there's still not much. But it seems like this last month, because it's the longest I've let it grow since starting testosterone. So I do have to say it's been itchier than normal. And it's been weird. Like if I'm sitting weird in my chair, like when I play video games, I kind of sit with my shirt. If I'm wearing a different shirt, like I can feel like it moving my whiskers, which is weird to me. And it's still weird to me to like lick my lips and feel stubble and whiskers. So that's only going to get not worse, but just it's going to be a new growing experience, not just growing experience. But I do have zoomed in and edited photos on my Instagram and on my story to keep track of where I'm going as I go forward, just to remind me, because I looked at pictures that I'd taken in September and there is like double the amount of whiskers. So I'm getting more. It's just a slower process for me, which it is for a lot of guys. Um, it's just the whole being patient thing. Because for cis guys, I still hate that term, but I'll use it. Um, they don't know exactly the date they start getting more testosterone in their body. They don't know when they hit puberty. They just all of a sudden will have a beard, or all of a sudden will be like, "Hey, I got," we know the exact date that we started. So to know that and sit there and wait is a little bit different and a lot harder. So that's the key. From asking in groups, I am specifically part of a 1330 and older FTM group on Facebook, and a lot of guys in that group said it took up to a year, if not, their beard is still developing as they go. So they might have more hair like I want, but it still took a couple years for it to fill in. And they also said that after the first year, it gets a lot easier to not sit around and wait and to just be like, oh, hey, my beard is, I my beard is a lot fuller, and I'm doing, I guess, like glow ups and flashback photos and those kind of things is how they notice too, and they don't necessarily notice themselves until they're like, whoa, wait, hey, I forgot my beard was scraggly at first too. So it's just a matter of still being patient. It's just, you know, it's gonna be annoying. You know, anything you have to wait for can be. But like I said, just from taking the photos that I've taken that I didn't share, but just the photos I have in my phone from September to now, not just the length, but the amount of hairs is encouraging. It's just going to take time. And, my new regimen of keeping my skin cleaner is not a bad thing. It is what it is. And since I miss the shaving aspect. So the scrubbing my face and getting it, that's my new regimen, which I like just as much. And if I forget for some reason, like if I come home from work, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do my soap scrub before I went to bed. Like I miss it, and so that's good. It's not a bad thing, a bad habit to get into, and it's replacing, the whole shaving thing. Like I said, I like the smell of it, I like the action of it, and getting to do a little bit of my side face still, because that is gonna probably take forever to come in the way it's going 8 months in, and why it's just one weird diamond spot right here. I'll continue to keep growing, shaving the sides and I've committed to growing out my mustache and my chin, and underneath. Like I said, I just shaved right here, like here back. But I'm leaving all of this down for the rest of the year for sure. See what goes from there, and then I will decide on the around the first, depending on how it's felt and how it looks. Like I said, I don't want just 5 long whisker hairs. There's more than 5, but I just don't want that scraggle look. So then I will decide if I'm shaving the chin. I will keep the mustache going because I was kind of sad that I did shave that mustache in October. I wish I would have just left it, and because of this. So I might still have to pluck the mole, but let the rest grow, which is its own annoyance. And like I said, my mole actually grows a couple of hairs that I normally pluck, and I haven't. And so, like I said, in watching this video, I can see those 3 hairs sticking out. So that's annoying me, and I'm considering actually removing the mole. So in case I do still, because anytime I've shaved pre-T or now, I nick it just about every time. And when I do, it bleeds really bad. Like, it takes forever to get it to stop. So if I want to be clean shaven for the rest of my life, then as my hair grows in faster, it's going to be harder to do and harder to maneuver. So like I said, I'm highly debating on removing it. I'm going to see my doctor soon, and it's going to be on my list of things to talk about. So, just is what it is. But it needs to be checked out anyway. So, if the doctor says it needs to be removed, I'm going to be okay with that since I'm considering it anyway. But other than that, the only other main update that I have, even though my year is coming to an end soon-ish, I have decided a new way to do my video updates. I did my 8-month voice update on the date, which I'm doing them on the date, not via weeks anymore. That was okay at first for the first couple of weeks, but now it's annoying. So the 16th is my testosterone mandate each month. So hopefully, I might record it a few days before and then hopefully get it uploaded by the 16th. And then on the odd months around the 16th, I probably will, even if there's not a whole lot of updates, do a video like this where it is explaining what's been going on and go over what I've done each month, just for those that are new to finding everything. There's been a couple of little updates, but not, like I said, it's still not a whole lot. I've said in previous videos where I didn't understand why guys were like, after a couple of months, like slowing down on their updates and doing every other month. Now I get it. It's not a whole lot of change. It is at first, and then it's not as much. And then I also haven't done my measurements since I was probably 3 or 4 months in. And I can definitely tell that my neck size has changed the most. My work shirts, I was wearing ties to work. I didn't have to, but I did. I don't know if it was the whole I wanted to appear more male, but I like ties, so it was, why not? And I had to quit wearing them because my shirts were rubbing my skin raw. And I have a couple of moles over here too that were actually bleeding because of it. So it was because the material, one of the nicer dress shirts was just pure friction. It was awful. And then I haven't done that in probably a month or two, and I wore a bow tie the day after Thanksgiving, and it did it even worse. So I'll be interested to know. One other thing that I did not measure in the beginning, because my doctor and I assumed it would not happen to me, given my age, was my feet. Most guys say that their feet grow, but most of those guys started their testosterone in their early 20s or their teens, so they are still growing. So a lot of guys complain about, having to buy new shoes, or I see shoes for sale in a lot of groups because guys are like, I just can't fit into my shoes anymore. All of my Chucks that I have, my Chuck Taylors, they are tied to a certain size, so I could just get them on and off. Because of my colostomy bag, sometimes bending over to tie my shoes is really not safe. It's painful, different reasons that it's not good for me. So I've tied them all so where I can just slip them on. A lot of them I can't get on. So my wife and I don't think that my feet grew lengthwise. We think they might have widened, and I don't really have a way to test that other than like cutting the shoelaces back off, because I tied them to where they won't come up, So that's the only way we can do that, is to get a pair, undo them, and redo the shoelaces and see if I can even still wear them at all. Because I have bought a couple pairs of tennis shoes since I've started testosterone, and those are the main shoes that I wear all the time if I'm not wearing like my work shoes or boots or something. My boots still fit fine, but it's definitely the Chucks that I cannot get into, and Chucks don't come in wides, so I don't know if my feet have gotten wider. That's the only thing that I didn't sit down and specifically measure before, so that's the only thing that I'm not 100% sure on. But like I said, coming up in a few weeks, I will have another video. It will be going over all my measurements. I will do another voice drop measurement in the FTM Analyzer app, I think it is, which is not available for iPhone, I have found out. So I have an Android, so I still have that. It's a good thing to look up in the Play Store if you are just starting out. You will be surprised how quickly your voice is dropping, whether you realize it or not. So that's a good thing that I'm glad that I found right before I started. But other than that, this was just a quick update about my lack of beard still. But like I said, if you go on Instagram, you can see the whiskers up close and personal if you want to. But until then, and until next month, well, next couple weeks, because it's already 8.5 months, that's about it. That's all I got for you. So once again, thanks for tuning in. I tried to keep it short. And congrats to all the guys that made it through November without shaving, and hopefully your results were amazing. You can share them with me on Instagram or comment below, and I will see you in a few weeks. Until then.